guys. So I forgot that I was supposed to do this live video today, and my alert went off a minute ago reminding me that I do these live videos every Monday at 5. So here I am feeling a bit unprepared, and I just got home a matter of minutes, I think in the past 10 minutes, so I'm feeling a little bit foggy. I just got back from a really brief trip in San Diego, and then after San Diego I went directly into a meeting, and then got Evie, hi Walter, and then came home. But it just feels, I feel a bit discombobulated. So I think I might keep this short because I'm also so tired right now. All I want to do is like lay down and zone out for a little bit before diving into work. I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed as usual, and I'm working really hard right now to get out of the overwhelm by putting together some systems, and it's just taking some time. So it's teaching me a lot of patience because I have this desire for immediacy, to want to, like, as quickly as possible change the situation, make it better, get out of frustration. And you know, the lessons I keep learning with that are just how important it is to remind yourself that it's always a choice. And what's interesting is being around other people who are in similar situations and being able to see parallels between their situations and mine. And as I've said in other videos, I'm usually good at identifying what other people need to do, but it's harder for me to identify how I can make changes. I try to be really aware of it, but there's only so much awareness you can have about yourself where you're not super biased, right? It's hard to look in at yourself from the outside, I guess, because you're never really on the outside of yourself. Hi, Ted. So, yeah, it's just kind of trying to do my very best and learn from other people, learn from myself, and also know that so much of life is a choice. And so we can choose to be stressed, we can choose to build up energy when we're tired in most cases, and we can choose to just take deep breaths and get through it in a positive way. So that's what I'm focused on right now. I was feeling stressed out yesterday, and it was kind of temporary. Hi, sweetheart, you want to come up here? Evie was staying with Jason while I was in San Diego, so we're reunited, and she's happy about that. And yeah, so that's where I'm at right now in this moment. I wanted to keep up with my commitment to check in with you guys, but I don't have anything major to say, just to pass on the lessons that I'm learning about myself. Hi, Liz. I was just saying in the beginning that I just got back from a trip and meetings, and I'm really tired right now, and I'd forgotten about the uncensored videos. So, I forgot up until the 5 o'clock when I was supposed to start, so thank goodness for my calendar reminder. So, my plan for the rest of the day is to relax for a little bit and then get back into putting together my schedule. I really have to get my schedule together ASAP because it's the first of the month, so that always kind of requires, or it's helpful to examine what's going to happen. I can't even believe it's October. This year is flying by, and the next few months I just feel like there's a lot going on. The meeting I had today was about this really cool vegan production that it looks like I'm going to be part of. I'll tell you guys more about that when I can. So I was basically going in to meet with the team to see if I was a good fit for this one particular role. And it looks like I'm gonna get the gig, which is exciting. And if I do get it, then I will be working very hard over the next few weeks, in addition to everything else that's on my plate, which is fine because it's a project that I believe in and something that I really want to be a part of. So, if that happens, I'm kind of like bracing myself for it. And I have 2 trips coming up. Thursday, I'm going to Cabo. I'm going to Mexico for the very first time. And then a couple weeks after that, I'm going to New Orleans for the second time. Both are for weddings of very close friends of mine. And I'm really excited about that, but it just requires a lot of preparation. I have to get the next episode of Vegan Pal done before I go, and I have to take care of a bunch of other projects, and there's just there's a lot of things that require planning. So that's where I'm at today. It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. It's starting to kind of feel like fall here, although it's been really warm, as you can see. I'm wearing a tank top outside. And I think also, sorry, I just got a call. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hold on. Let me do that real quick. Sometimes I forget to do that before I go live. It's important to mention right now that I think sometimes we have to step back and be grateful for stress, grateful for exhaustion, because there's a lot of really intense things happening throughout the world. Was it yesterday? I think it was last night that the shooting happened in Vegas, which I've barely even had a chance to look into. I woke up at 10:30 this morning, and that was one of the first things that I saw when I checked my email. And, of course, it's all over social media. And then right before I ever started recording this video, I saw that Tom Petty is in the hospital, and some people thought he was dead, but, there are mixed reports about whether he's passed away or not. It's like, there's so many casualties, whether they're terror attacks, whether they're people dying from health conditions or old age, and then there's natural disasters happening. There's a lot of death and destruction and sadness, and it's a tense time. It feels like a lot's happening at once, and last year felt really challenging, and this year has felt challenging too, and that's why it's so important to be present and to be grateful and to know that everything's relative to us, everything's relative to the moment. So, in a way, I'm just grateful for stress and exhaustion because I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have my health. And I need to be reminded that some of the things that are hard for me are really minor compared to some of the other things happening around the world. And it's not dismissive of my experience because, again, it's always relative, right? So what's hard for us is relative to hardships we've had in the past. But it's also so important to step outside of ourselves and say, okay, in the grand scheme of things, what I'm dealing with is really a blessing. It's such a blessing to be able to be stressed. I'm blessed to be stressed, as some people say, right? Because I have a choice to be stressed, but these casualties that happen, most of the people don't have a choice in the matter. They are innocent people that are being killed, and there are people that are dying of challenging health conditions. And then there are, whether it's natural disasters and shootings and all this stuff, it just feels more and more commonplace. We just have to work on being less self-centered. So I need to be reminded of that. I get stressed out because all the work that I'm doing, my aim with my work is to help other people, but in a way it's very selfish of me to be focused on stress because the stress prevents me from accomplishing the things that I want to do to help other people. So that's part of the reason I showed up to do this video. I could have easily been I'm too tired, I don't feel like doing this, but I'm here for you guys, for all of you that watch. I'm here to have a conversation with you live and in the comments. I'm here to share perspectives and hear your perspectives on them, and I feel like that's so important for each of us to have support and community and an outlet and just remind each other of what's important and what's real. So much of what we experience internally is not reflective of reality. It's all just these stories we have about life that may not be fully accurate. It's just based on our own emotions and our fears and our resistances, our blocks, our programming, all that stuff. So it's hard to work through all that, but ultimately kind of a small thing considering everything else. And I've just kind of been trying to think lately about how I can help other people in these situations, you know? Like what I can do, like what's the most effective thing I can do to help with the issue of gun violence, for example. Like it just feels like it's constantly in our faces. Like what is going on? How can I help with things like natural disasters? What's the immediate thing that I can do? And what's the long-term thing, you know? Like, are natural disasters happening because of climate change? In my opinion, probably. And so there's a long-term benefit to living an eco-friendly lifestyle and spreading the word about that. Is gun violence the result of people that are unhappy, that are frustrated? Is it lack of love? Is there too much fear in our country? What can I do on a global level to inspire people to have more love and have less fear and develop more unity? You know, so much of my work is based around that. So like those are the things that keep me going, right? Because it's all part of this bigger thing. So I really believe if we can come together and be positive and support one another and create those senses of community and just step outside of ourselves as much as possible is so important. So I'm trying to figure out what role I can play in that. Francie said it's stunning to me how nobody's talking about gun control. I wouldn't say nobody's talking about it, but yeah, I feel like we need to figure something out. But it's such a hard thing because, I'm pretty ignorant about these sort of things, so I would like to educate myself more on it. There's clearly something going on. Is it that, because I do believe to some extent in the right to bear arms. Like, I don't really know that much about it, so I need to learn more about what that means exactly. I don't have a desire to have a gun. I would actually like to know how to shoot a gun just from a knowledge, but I don't need to have one. And I certainly don't have a desire to kill other people with a gun. So then what's the point of even having a gun, right? People want it for self-protection or they want it for sport. And I don't believe in the sport side of it, right? It seems ridiculous to me. But I can't relate to that desire. Like some people are raised believing that guns are great. And they have these strong moral, ethical sides to them where they think that, having a gun makes them feel safe, or that makes them feel like they're free, and knowing how to shoot guns and all these other things, right? I'm kind of just curious how to shoot a gun, but I don't need to know how to shoot one, and I certainly don't feel like I need to own one. But I also feel like if somebody wants to, I don't know, is it regulations that need to change? Is it education that needs to change? Is it accessibility? Is it, there's so many, it's such a complex issue. I don't have any of the answers yet. But I think it comes down to a lot of fear and a lot of education that needs to happen. I've barely had a chance to read anything about this Vegas situation, so I don't know what they know about this gunman yet and what the motivation is and all that stuff. And I can't even begin to say, but I think at the root, any violence that happens is often rooted in fear. Hate's rooted in fear. Separation is rooted in fear. Anger is rooted in fear. Like, it's all just so much fear that we have. And let's see, so Ted says that gun deaths are way down in this country. And I think that's it too. It's like we also have to examine the media, right? Like, is everything that we're hearing from the media real? Like, are they trying to make us scared? Is it all formulated, calculated efforts to make us scared as a country, And again, that comes back to fear. So if people are fearful, they're easier to control. If they're fearful, it causes separation. It causes us to be angry. It causes us to have hate. It causes us to, trust people that maybe we shouldn't trust. Like, fear is probably one of the biggest issues that we have. Wow, Ted said that 2 out of 3 gun deaths are suicides. Right, and how often do you even hear, I mean, I guess you hear of suicides, but it feels like so many things that's publicized in the media are gun deaths around, like, shootings. It just, like, even reading today's news, like, I almost feel numb to it. I'm like, wow, that's horrible, but part of me is like, all right, another shooting, like, not dismissive, but it's just like, it's not even, like, my first reaction isn't even complete shock. It's just, wow, that's horrible that it happened again, but I'm not even shocked anymore, and that is a horrible feeling. You know, like, it's like watching a movie and feeling numb to violence because you've seen so much of it that it doesn't even bother you anymore. It's kind of nuts. Lots of comments coming in, so let me read some of these. Liz says, I don't want a gun either, but my husband thinks we should for protection. Julie says, don't you think it's so much more? What about the mind? People don't just want to kill. I don't have cable. I saw this earlier on TV. Liz says, mental illness is a big one. Dory said, hugs to everyone today, feeling troubled or low. My thoughts are call your reps and tell them what you want to be done, no matter what you want to be done. Let your voice be heard. Julie says, exactly, Liz. I work in a hospital and see it every day. I see so many sad people in a world where we have all this technology to be connected. We are so unconnected. Green Dragon said, I wish people could work together and find effective ways to reduce violence nationwide other than fight and insult. And I agree, like, a lot of these comments are about the empowerment and the education side of it. It's like, what can we do? Like, the immediate thing we can do is let our voice be heard, whether it's voting, whether it's calling representatives, signing petitions, getting involved with organizations and all these things that we can do, and educating ourselves. Like, I feel more compelled because I have so much ignorance around guns and all of that. Like, I barely know anything about it, and I would like to be more educated. So it starts with that personal responsibility. And then it comes down to, like, how can we spread more love in this world, and not from, like, a hokey, hippy-dippy, woo-woo way, even though, of course, I believe in all that stuff. But, like, logistically, like, there's people, I think there's just so much fear that it's just runs rampant in our country and across the world. And that's a whole nother topic that I think I will end on that note, because I would love to hear from you guys, and I also need to go rest, and I also want to go read up more about what's happening in Vegas, because I just got home and I haven't had a chance to educate myself. So I'm going to read some depressing news and then unwind, and then think about the next steps that I can do. And if you guys have any great information you'd love to share, and some positive things that we can discuss in the comment section, please put that down. I would love to hear from you. Please remember to keep it positive. This is a safe community of people having discussions here. So check out the comments and be respectful of one another. The last thing I want to do is spread any hate in the comments. We don't need any more of that. Roxy's here, by the way. Roxy, it's amazing to see your sweet little avatar on the screen, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. If you guys don't know Roxy yet, she has an awesome channel, Roxy Rocks TV, and she does all sorts of very happy, loving content. She's a fellow vegan and such a sweet person. Speaking of spreading love, people like her I value so much. So Roxy Rocks TV, and she's trilingual. Is it 3 different languages? I think it's English, Spanish, and Italian. Is that right? It's amazing. She's reaching people all over the world through her videos, and it's just like really, really inspiring stuff. So yes, three languages. I miss your face, Roxy. I can't wait to see you soon. I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. I really look forward to reading comments today and talking about what we can do to just emotionally support one another, but also what actions can we take to help make the world a better place. Because each of us do have the power to do that. You never know who you're going to affect. So stay positive, stay loving, do your best not to spread further fear, and continue to grow your community, whether it's online or in person, or I should say. All right, everyone. See you next time.